Under high alert, Israeli citizens living near the Gaza border have been ordered to stay inside. And that's after a Palestinian Islamic Jihad, they fired rockets against the Jewish state.
Iran has certainly been feeling emboldened within the last 2 years or so. I wonder why. As a matter of fact, Iran is confident enough to go beyond their all too familiar nuclear threats and incessant war-centric rhetoric against Israel. As we speak, Iran has launched what is being called a multi-front Middle East war against the tiny Jewish state. The so-called Islamic Republic and its proxies have conjured up a multi-front conflict with all of its Islamic allies firing rockets into Israel. According to one news source, a week of attacks on Israel, including rockets fired from Lebanon, Gaza, and Syria, represents the manifestation of an Iranian strategy to confront Israel with multiple threats on different fronts. Although different groups may be behind the attacks from those places, these groups are likely all linked to Iran. The groups involved include Hamas, Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, and others that may go by different or new names, but which are proxies of Tehran. Immediately, the biblical prophecy enthusiast will be tempted to look toward the Ezekiel 38 prophecy, which is quite explicit. According to this prophecy, a league of nations will come together to attack Israel. These nations are named in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verses 5 and 6. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togama of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. The modern names of these nations are believed to be Gog, Russia, Persia, Iran, Cush, Sudan, Ethiopia, Put, Libya, Gomer, Turkey, Beth Togama, Turkey, Eastern Europe. It is no coincidence that these nations are majority Islamic. What is amazing about this prophecy is that it was written centuries before Islam was even an idea. Today, this alliance, as seen in the book of Ezekiel, has already been formed, and Russia is in the mix as well. There has also been a large upsurge in the Islamic population in Europe. So, are we looking at the Ezekiel 38 prophecy coming to pass? Not quite. The stage is being set for that conflict. What we may actually be looking at is what some call the Elam prophecy, or the prophecy against Elam from the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah 49:34-36, the word of the Lord that came to Jeremiah the prophet against Elam in the beginning of the reign of Zedekiah, king of Judah, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Behold, I will break the bow of Elam, the chief of their might, and upon Elam will I bring the four winds from the four quarters of heaven, and will scatter them toward all those winds, and there shall be no nation whither the outcast of Elam shall not come. Elam is in the southwestern portion of Iran, and it just so happened to be where much of its nuclear facilities have been constructed. Israel has already stated that should Iran develop nuclear weapons, they will strike before they ever get the chance to use them. Could it be that Israel will strike Iran's nuclear facilities in order to stop them from attempting to annihilate Israel? This is highly probable. The prophecy from Jeremiah is so distinct that naming Elam as the focus of the attack, seeing that this is where their nuclear plants are situated, is just astounding. That's how prophecy works, folks. The prophecy against Elam states that God will break Elam's bow, rendering it incapable of offensive attack. God says that he will destroy the chief of their might. In other words, they will have no more reason to boast. The people of Iran will not perish, however. This is a quite strange part of the prophecy. Jeremiah 49:36. And upon Elam will I bring four winds from the four quarters of heaven, and will scatter them toward all those winds. And there shall be no nation whither the outcasts of Elam shall not come. The people of Iran will be scattered throughout every nation of the world after they are judged. It is highly probable that after Iran's nuclear facilities are destroyed, then it will become uninhabitable, and it will force people to migrate. The true Iranians, the Persian people, many of which are now Christians, believe in this particular prophecy. You have to comprehend the plight of the Persian people. The Persians are currently living under the oppression of a dreadful dictatorship which persecutes its citizens in the name of religion. The Persian Christians believe that as God scatters them to every nation on the earth, they will bring the gospel of Jesus Christ with them to evangelize the world, and then the end will come. They have been praying for this prophecy for decades. Iran will survive the breaking of its bow, but only by design. Its allies in Russia and elsewhere will try to rehabilitate a staggering regime and lead it into a war with Israel. This will probably be where we see the Ezekiel 38 war. Either way, Iran is signing its own epitaph. Israel has already approved a $1.5 billion budget for an inevitable war with Iran. This will most likely be the fulfillment of the Elam prophecy. In the event that you're still wondering if we're living in the last days, I want to say, wake up! The Bible is continuing to hit the nail on the head over and over again with prophecy. The world as we know it is changing before our very eyes, but so many are asleep. It's quite ironic now, at this juncture in the advent of humanity, that everyone is talking about being woke. Some are hearing the prophecy and they are dismissive of it as fairy tales. While Iran dabbles with its fate, I adjure you, please don't gamble with yours. Come to Jesus Christ today, for He's the only one that guarantees tomorrow. Now think about that.
I'm wading through this water, Lord, for better or for worse. In all my ways, I'm putting Jesus first. With love in every line, in every song, in every verse.